Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about taking tabletop role-playing games and moving them from the niche hobby category to the mainstream hobby category. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this is I'm a huge tabletop role-playing game fan, and I really want that to, and I feel that the benefits for it, for the people who play and the people who game master, are significant. I feel like my family is richly provided for because many of the skill sets that I've gotten from tabletop role-playing games. So I want them to be spread to as many people as possible. So I'd really like to move tabletop role-playing games from a niche market to a mainstream market, a mainstream hobby. And so right now, the reason I'm talking about this, I feel there's are two very, very powerful tools for game masters out there to move tabletop role-playing games from niche hobby category to mainstream hobby category. And the two powerful tools are, first, the Cypher rules system by Monte. It's a brand new role-playing game, absolutely fantastic. As far as rules, I think it is the magnum opus of tabletop role-playing game rules. It's elegant, it's fast, it's cinematic, it's intuitive, really, and then also it's almost limitless, right? So you can quickly build very powerful, compelling tabletop role-playing game stories for as many for anywhere from 2 to 5 players, and then put those stories on very quickly at a very reasonable rate, right? And so it's a standard cost for the role-playing game book, but for the amount of entertainment you get, I feel like tabletop role-playing games are a great value, right? So with that said, what is the second one? And the second one is the United States of America's Hollywood hype machine. And so that is the vast number of films that are coming out and the hype machine behind them, right? So Hollywood puts out a huge number of massive, big blockbuster films, and those are available to us as tabletop role-playing game fans from a story perspective, okay? Those worlds are. Right now, one of the hottest tabletop role-playing games out there is the Star Wars tabletop role-playing game, put on by Fantasy Flight Games. It's absolutely fantastic, extremely high production value on the products itself, right? And it's done gangbusters. It's done so well that Disney is about to let them make a tabletop role-playing game beginner's box out of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. This is huge. It's saying, and so that's fantastic, right? So what I'm saying is that us, as game masters, we've really struggled to bring lots and lots of players to our table, right? I think overall it can be difficult, right? Because, there's Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody knows that one. Pathfinder's having a very hard time right now that the fifth edition has come out. There's a huge number of games out there, all with, different... there's a huge number of games out there, all that have different... rule sets, right? And so we're always saying, hey, come play my new role-playing game and learn a new rule set. And that can be very daunting for a lot of players. Even if they like your setting, they might not like the idea of learning a new rule set. And we like to say, hey, these rule sets are simple, all right? But they're not, because as game masters, your idea of simple is not really the same as what other people would consider simple. But you can take Cypher and you can run a Transformers game. And you can do it in a week, right? You can pull that together and run a great game that lots of people are going to love for a week's worth of work on your part, right? And it's better than it's ever been built. Like, it puts GURPS to shame. There's never been a tri-stat. There's never really been a universal role-playing game system that took off. But Monte is a genius, and he is motivated, and he is a very smart businessman. And he has built a platform that we can really use to push tabletop role-playing game from the niche market to the mainstream hobby market. And I would really love to see that happen. So you can take Cypher and you can play before it's put out the next Planet of the Apes film. You can take Cypher and you can run Star Wars, right? And one of the reasons why is I love the Fantasy Flight game Star Wars tabletop role-playing game, but it is complicated and it can be challenging to learn. It's a daunting rule system, whereas Cypher is so elegant and so simple and so automatically geared to be able to be staged from people of different levels of education, people of different levels of interest in tabletop role-playing games. And one of the things is, with Cypher, you could bring in non-tabletop role-playing game fans, and this is critical. It's simple enough where the rules will allow you to bring in non-tabletop role-playing game fans, people who love stories and who love movies. That's your fan base for Cypher. It works. It's been promised with a lot of other games, and I don't think anybody ever really got there. And the reason why was there's never been a Leonardo da Vinci of tabletop role-playing games before. Robin Laws came close. Mike Merles, I think, is a genius, but he's not at the level of Monte Cook. And so basically, Cypher is really special, and we really should use it to start building tabletop role-playing games based on these Hollywood properties. And I just think it's a really solid idea, and I think it could really make a huge difference, you know. And the list just goes on and on and on. We can bring in, you know, players into your Cypher rule systems Harry Potter world. You can bring players into your Cypher systems Deadpool game. And one of the things is you can run these games, you know, as the hype is being built for the movie, and you could show your version of the movie before your movie fans even see the movie. Or you can tell a sequel right after the film's been made, right? And this is really important because we really haven't had these tools before. We've been promised these tools. There are a lot of games that claimed it. GURPS was, oof, yeah, it had solidly bad art across the board. They never left black and white. And you know, and so really, Monte Cook has created something with Cypher rule system that is unprecedented, and you can use it, and it delivers on promises that have been made for decades. And so, and in both of these, the massive interest in United States of American films, movie properties, intellectual properties, franchise properties is at a staggering rate right now. And we can grab just a fraction of those people, you know, 1%, 5%, same thing you would build a startup on, right? Momentum, and we can really move tabletop role-playing game industry from a niche market to a mainstream market. And I think there'd be a lot of fantastic benefits from this. And, you know, the list just goes on and on and on. Cypher rule system Star Trek, and, you know, Cypher rule systems BattleTech. We can make Cypher system rule systems for movies that haven't been made. You know, so you could do Cypher systems rule systems for Space Battleship 2199, Cyber systems rule systems, Cypher rule system, proper, you know, tabletop role playing games for Ghost in the Shell before it comes out, you know, and just for properties that have languished for a long time. You know what I mean? You could do a Cypher rule system tabletop role-playing game about the Ramones, you know, like, and, you know, like, there's just so much you can do with it. And the game is so flexible and so elegant and so far beyond any tabletop role-playing game rule system that's ever been created that it really delivers where a lot of games have fallen short. And so I really feel that these are the two tools that we as game masters should use to elevate the tabletop role-playing game system from the niche market is into the mainstream market. Thank you.